John chapter 12, verse 44. And Jesus cried out and said, "Whoever believes in me, believes not in me, but in him who sent me." Okay. Now, yes, I'm here standing on the beach in Bali, yeah, so I can't really cry out loud. There's lots of people around. It's going to look a little bit weird. But Jesus was, well, sure, not standing on the beach. He was there in the temple, and the other thing that he understandably was lying ahead is his death was near. Now, if I knew that I'm going to die in 2 or 3 days from now on a cross in that such a way, I think even here and now standing, I might have cried out, because you kind of maybe want to at least use the opportunity while there's chance. Okay, so yes, he cried out. He cried out. His soul was troubled. It's a cry not out of desperation, because Jesus wasn't desperate. Okay, out of desperation is when you don't know what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. That is out of desperation. When you're troubled and you're desperate, and so that's a different situation than what Jesus is here, right? He wasn't desperate. He was troubled. Yes. All of this is lying ahead. Yes. All of the boxes you can tick, but it's not desperation. It's not desperation. So, saying believes in you. Whoever believes in me believes not in him, but who sent me. It's not. You believe in Jesus. You believe in the Father. There's always this golden thread. It's not that the Trinity works against each other, or the one works just so to glorify the other. They're all glorifying each other, and they're all working together, right? So if you believe, the Spirit helps you to believe in the Son. The Son, then you believe in the Son, you believe in the Father, and then you believe as well in the Spirit. So it's all this unity that's always there. So what these people, they're not believing in Jesus, and what John is telling his original writers and telling you as well, you don't believe in the Son, you don't believe in the Father. But you don't believe only in the Son. If you believe in the Son, you believe in the Father as well. And the Holy Spirit makes all of this possible. So, trying to tell them, but Jesus trying to tell them that their rejection of him is not just a rejection of him, but it's a rejection ultimately of the one who sent him. Verse 45. And whoever sees me sees him who sent me. Does that now imply, since Jesus has 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth and whatever, and a beard according to all these pictures of Jesus, which most likely would not have had, plus long hair, sure, he would not have had that. Would that imply this is, then you see Jesus, this is now seeing the Father, but the Father is Spirit, you can't see him. No one has ever seen him. No. Okay? That's not what Jesus is saying. He's not saying you see me, you see us exactly how. He was speaking of who he is, right? Of giving himself, of glorifying the Father, of not breaking any laws, of being perfect, of being all of those kinds of things you see. So when you see the Son, so we see more of the Father when we see the Son, the attributes of the Father when we see the Son. Verse 46, I've come into the world as light, so that whoever believes in me may not remain in darkness. Right, this is the last night I was thinking of, okay, I wanted to finish this part in the dark, because everything is dark. This whole Jesus going to die on the cross, it all looks so dark. If you look at the Russian word for the Friday before, or the crucifixion, then they call it Strasne Piatnica, right? So in other words, it's something that's bad. While in English or in Afrikaans or other languages, we usually call it the Good Friday, Goeie Vrydag. In other words, it's something that's good. Why? It's not good for Jesus, understandably, but it's good for humanity. It's good for It's good in ultimately for the glory that it brings to the Father. In that sense, it's great. Okay, so from this evil came forth this great good, which is the same thing Joseph said to his brothers. So therefore, although I was like, okay, everything seems so dark, like the Russian version of the crucifixion, I thought, you know what, maybe I just want to, because he speaks of the light, and so I want to like do this rather in the light, in the daytime, because so you can see the beauty of the beach, the beauty of the waves, the beauty of just, again, God's nature, light. So you can see light. Okay, that is why ultimately we're recording it today. So this is what Jesus is saying. He came into the world as light. But this is what he's to lighten up the world, so that where the world was like under the blindness of the devil, the ruler of the world, not the ruler of everything, not the ruler of the sand and the whatever I was saying. The devil never ruled any of that because it doesn't belong to him. Okay, but us, as dead in sin, the world. So now they're not in sin. Still in sin, but I mean they're not blinded by the devil again. They're sheep from other folds that Jesus bringing in. That's the Greeks asking Jesus, Philip, to see Jesus. We then went to Andrew, and then we went back to see Jesus earlier in this chapter. That sign that that now the devil has been judged. He's been thrown out. The ruler of the world is out. There's no more this blindness. The light is here now. The light, which is Jesus. So the light of the day is here now. You can see the green trees. You can see the beauty, the blue skies. Light. Okay. Last night we were blinded by the dark. We could not see. But today we're in the light. We can see. Now, yes, we know people love doing the evil. They love to be out on the beach at nighttime, getting drunk, drinking their bintang. Okay, that's the Bahasa word for beer. Like, there's some people like this guy here now. He's drinking his bintang in the daytime. But you get people because we are so into sin that they don't care whenever they do it. But for the vast majority, no, they do it at night. But now the light is here, right? The light. Jesus is the light. So if you believe in him, you'll not remain in the darkness. The sun will shine again, like the sun is shining now. You won't remain in the darkness. Now there's light. If you believe in him, okay, you will bring out your deeds, will now be the deeds that God, the Father, prepared for you before the foundation of the world to do, and not the evil deeds that you always try to hide at night. Verse 47. If anyone hears my words and does not keep them, I do not judge him, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. So if you hear the words and you don't keep those words, the words of Jesus, the Logos, if you don't keep the words, you don't believe. You don't believe, you don't keep the words. If you keep the words, you do believe, or the belief shows you keeping the words. From the fruit, by the fruit, they shall know you, right? So he is not the one judging. The words is the one which will judge him. The Father will judge, right? And yes, ultimately, the final judgment, Jesus will come back. Again, he's not speaking now of that judgment. He's speaking now of the words. So you keep the words, you hear the words, you don't keep them. That shows you don't believe them. So the words will judge you. He doesn't need to judge you to tell you wrong. The words that he said is judging you. He did not come to judge the world as well. 3:16, John, that is, but to save the world. Okay, to save the world from this darkness, so that the light is here, that the devil has been judged, so the rule of this world has been judged, so that the scales in front of the eyes of the Gentiles of not being able to hear even or believe, that people in South America can hear, people in Australia can hear, lots of Australians around here, that people in New Zealand, people in Russia, people all over the world can hear, even if one day people live in Mars, that they can hear. Okay, they can't be blinded anymore. The words are out now. The truth that was always there is now been opened, and the blinds, the blinkers, the blinds have been taken away.